Cities have long been celebrated as the engines of modern civilization, spaces of progress, participation and collective belonging. Yet for millions of persons with disabilities, the urban landscape represents not opportunity, but exclusion. Behind the facade of development, the very structures meant to connect society have become instruments of separation: stairs without ramps, transport without access, and digital platforms that ignore difference. This exclusion is not a matter of inconvenience or poor planning. It is a systemic violation of human rights, a physical manifestation of structural discrimination. When a student cannot attend a class because the university lacks an elevator, when a citizen cannot file a complaint because the courthouse is inaccessible, when public transport remains out of reach, the message is clear: equality is conditional and citizenship is selective. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities transformed the global understanding of disability. It established that disability is not an individual impairment, but the result of societal and environmental barriers. In this framework, accessibility is not charity nor an act of goodwill. It is a legal and moral obligation. Each inaccessible building, website, or public facility constitutes a breach of the state's duty under international law. The notion of spatial justice reminds us that the right to the city is not limited to physical access. It extends to participation, representation, and visibility in public life. A city that excludes is not merely underdeveloped, it is unjust. Its design decisions become instruments of marginalization, constructing invisible walls that segregate citizens and erode their dignity. Transforming this reality requires a paradigmatic shift from isolated adaptation to universal design. This principle calls for creating environments and technologies usable by all people without the need for modification. Universal design turns accessibility into a foundational criterion of justice, one that benefits everyone, from older persons and children to those facing temporary limitations. But no reform can succeed without inclusion in decision-making. The human rights movement for persons with disabilities has long affirmed the principle of nothing about us without us. Their experiential knowledge is not supplementary, it is indispensable. Policy and planning that ignore their voices inevitably reproduce the very barriers they seek to remove. Ultimately, accessibility is the architecture of equality. A city that upholds the rights of persons with disabilities strengthens the rights of all its citizens. An inclusive city is not merely more compassionate, it is more rational, efficient, and humane. Accessibility is not a privilege to be granted. It is justice made visible in the public space.